so I had to deal with that.
Same.
I wonder how it'd be for me now because I get motion sick doing like VR stuff. So I don't think 3D was I should have an issue, but I don't know.
Well, you'll find out. Hi, Juwaan.
Welcome everybody. We are live. Welcome to an all-new episode of Marvel Cinematic Review. This is our breakdown for the season finale, series finale, whatever they decide the future call it, for Moonknight. It is the last episode of Moonknight. We have come to the end of the road for this season. And it's a bit of a break. Probably about 2.5 to 3 weeks till we get to Miss Marvel, and then we'll be right back to break down Miss Marvel. Not to mention, we'll have already been started our Kenobi breakdown weekly. So that'll be a lot of fun. But we're here now for Moonknight. Very excited to break it down. We have a packed house tonight. A lot of people start to round in as we go forward. And we will also be debuting our first look at our motion poster for Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness tonight. So that'll be a lot of fun. Also, stay tuned for that. But all right, let's introduce our panel, starting off with Didge. What's up, Didge?
Not much, no. Good finale. I enjoyed it. So yeah, I guess we'll dive deep into it later.
We definitely will. Next up is Joel. What's up, Joel?
What's up, everybody?
What's going on? Next up, Jamie. What's up, Jamie?
Oh, nothing much, I feel like today was a very blessed day. I feel at peace. Also the Moonknight finale. It happened. It was
Sure
something.
did.
It was something.
It was something.
It was something. But blessed day.
Yeah, for sure. I don't even want to know what the underlining meaning of any of that is. But anyway, next up, Tia. What's going on, Tia?
Hello, everyone. First of all, I want to say I came prepared. I don't know if you can see that. There you go. All right, guys.
Nice.
But yeah, I am excited to break down the finale. I'm going to start right away by saying this should have had more episodes. 6 felt way too short. And I will say, and I know we're going to get deeper into it, but am I the only one that when the show initially ended, you were like, that's it? That's how we're ending this. And then finally when it finally got to like the, I guess like mid-credit scene, it was like, oh, okay. Because I was just like, there has to be a second season, right? Because this is like, did you guys just give up at that final moment? Like I know COVID like put a halt on a lot of things, but Jesus.
Yeah, like the SD card's full. I guess that's it, guys.
Yeah, they just like that's it. Never mind.
Budget.
Yeah, definitely. They definitely left it to where you got a little nervous there at the ending. But Marvel does as Marvel does. They've definitely made sure that you were fulfilled by the end of this episode, whether you liked it or not. It had a conclusive ending. Next up, Trevon. What's up, Trevon?
Hey, everybody. Happy to be here, happy to talk about it. It was good. It's pretty good. Yeah, I'll get into it more later.
All right. And last but definitely not least, before we jump right into it, Jayla. What's going on, Jayla?
Not much. I'm stoked. I love this episode. I really did.
All right. Definitely welcoming back listener Jim from his long vacation. Well deserved. Glad to have you back.
I know it looks so nice. I was jealous.
Yeah. And definitely shout out to listener Jim for representing Geek Vibes Nation while he was out on his long cruise. Yeah. So appreciate that. All right. So I want to start off with Joel. Actually, I never start off with Joel, so we're gonna start off with Joel. I was going for a record there, but things should change. But all right, we're gonna start with Joel. Joel, what were your thoughts on this finale or season? I'll just say finale. Let's leave it at that because we don't know if it's season or series. So
leave it open.
What's your thoughts on the finale?
Honestly, it's Marvel. Do you really expect it to actually end? No. But will it be a series next time we see it? That's the question. I loved it. I think the last 2 episodes from last week to this week, a very, very nice way to end the series. Even though I agree with Tia. Like when it ended, I was like, there's no way it just ends that way, right? But it's a finale. So at the same time, you're like, there's definitely a post-credit scene, and that post-credit scene blew it out of the park for me. So I was like, all right, great wrap up, nice little bow tie there. But I can't complain. I enjoyed the hell out of it. I was wondering the whole time like how they were gonna get out of the situation they were in, and it makes sense because they even referenced what happened like when the doors opening. They mentioned that in the last episode with Osiris and all that. So I'm like, okay, all right. So at least they mentioned it earlier. So like it came back this time around when he was like, I can't just go do the field of reuse by myself. I have to go back and save Steven. The great little speech he had there for him, like that little personal connection. He's like fully embraced Steven. Love that, especially on the frozen sands. Pretty cool. Layla, a badass, straight up badass. And the fact that she was so against, I don't want to work with anybody. I just want to just do my own thing. Very hesitant to like say like I want to be anybody's avatar, especially Khonshu's avatar. After all the shit that he put them through, that she eventually gave in to Tamara, and it worked out. Because look, it really is the Scarlet Scarab symbols on the thing and everything. Now I didn't know they'd go that far, but I appreciate them doing it, giving her a costume and making her a straight up beast at the end of that. So I'm like, cool. I didn't expect to see Godzilla in this movie. So I mean, in this episode. So I was like, that was cool. Seeing Emmett come to like bring to life and then growing. It felt almost like a Power Ranger show for a second. So I was like, oh my god. I'm like, this shit is crazy. My question was, did people see that or did they not see that? Because I wasn't paying attention if people actually saw them fighting in the background, because I know in the earlier episodes some of that shit people couldn't see. So I wonder if only Moonknight and like Layla could see them fighting in the background. But either way, that was still very cool to see. The CGI was very well done, at least for the most part, in this episode. So action, a lot of action fighting, a lot of good fight scenes. Pretty damn cool seeing the back and forth between Moon Knight and Mr. Knight. That was cool. Obviously Layla fighting was cool too. And then we got Jake again. A little tease of Jake again towards the end before we got the full reveal in the post-credit scene. And I love that because like I'm sitting there waiting for like mainly the whole episode for him to finally be fully revealed, and it's really at the very end where you get Jake. But now whatever. The point is we got him and I loved it. And then we got, I know Juwaan, I could hear Juwaan screaming from my house when that post-credit thing happened. With the limo and Mr. Knight in a suit. So not Mr. Knight, the Khonshu in a suit. So that I loved it.
Yeah, Khonshu kind of looked cool in like a suit. I was like,
yeah, that's from the comic.
Yeah, I like that.
That's cool. Like what the hell? And
style.
He did, right?
Yeah, style.
I'm like, his villain arc is complete now. And now he just needs a little cat to pet. And there you
go. Maybe it'll happen.
Never know.
Yeah. No, that was all I had ever been asking for. Could I have gotten Jake with a mustache and it be even more perfect? Sure. But
does he have a mustache in the comics?
100%. 100%.
My thing is, how do you go back and forth like that?
Yeah, I was about to say, is that like the SpongeBob?
But no,
like,
instant
no. But that's what I like about it is I like about you flirting with the idea of what's real. Like, yes, we see Jake, but is what we're seeing an actual real manifestation of what he's supposed to be doing in said time? And Jake speaking Spanish was like,
that was
you guys are really weird. Like, you're really weird with everything you're doing here. Yeah. I know a lot of people are like, oh, as soon as he spoke Spanish, I knew it was Jake. And I was just like, bullshit. He's never spoken Spanish.
Oh, really? Oh.
No, he doesn't speak Spanish at all.
I figured that was just part of the game.
Not at all. But
before he even
clearly, but clearly they're doing, I mean, a lot has changed because a lot of people don't know that Mr. Knight is one of the personalities. He's not like just I dress up as Mr. Knight. He's a whole nother personality. Right. He's a whole nother personality. So it's going to be weird to see how far they go with this character, knowing that you've now taken that away to where he's not his own identity. He's someone else's coping mechanism. Right. So it's like, that's interesting. But Joel knows this. I've been asking for that limo since day one. Day one, I was like, I want to see that limo. Like, that limo is very important to Mr. Knight. Mr. Knight always is driving his Spectre mobile. So I'm like, well, no, he usually, yes, no, you're absolutely right. Yes, he does. I'm thinking Jake. Yes, so he does. But I thought it was a happy medium that we got Jake, but no cab, but Jake is still a driver. So I'm true. like, okay, that's a happy medium. I can't be too upset at that. That's pretty awesome. But yeah, that was everything for me. I'm like, that was all I've ever been asking for. And that was beautiful. And so much about Mr. Knight in the episode was just like, that's just Mr. Knight. Like, everyone was like, oh, that was so swag, like him fixing his suit in mid-fight. And it's like, that's Mr. Knight. That's what he does all the time. Mr. Knight will beat your ass and then go, all right, let me just make sure this is all right. Okay. But yeah, what makes each of these personalities special for me is Mr. Knight used to help the police with investigations, with murder investigations and stuff like that. So clearly they're going a different route from that. Jake was never the violent type. Jake was more so just like, all right, I'm the driver at night. I pick up very interesting people. I kind of find out what's happening in the underworld from these very set interesting people. So now what leaves the biggest question as I pass it to you, Didge, is if they said it, I just forgot, which is very likely. But now I'm very curious because I told you guys last week that Jake, like, that's an actual DID thing. So like, you usually have something that's your protector and something that's your coping. So we know Steven was always how he could cope with the disaster, right? But if now you're telling me that Jake Lockley is the protector, how much of Jake Lockley came out during the time of his mom beating him? So I'm very curious if there was ever any pushback between Jake Lockley and his mother. We know he ran away when he got a little older, and she obviously passed away during that time of him being gone, but, you know, still question marks there. And the biggest question mark is, I'm glad Conchu said it, is there a brother? Is there actually a brother? We not only did not see the brother drown, we never saw Mark come out of the water. So a lot of me kind of is thinking, because what they did touch on a lot in the earlier comics is Conchu didn't cause his dissociative identity disorder, but he definitely made it worse. So it's like, is very small things of his past true? And Conchu being part of him only furthers the stories that he has in his own head. So I'm very curious about a lot of that and how it kind of solves itself going forward. And as far as could the people see, remember, towards the end of that episode, Arthur started to try to brainwash a lot of the local townspeople. So it's a good chance that they were kind of busy with trying not to die from all the people trying to hold their arms and kill them, that they just they couldn't really pay attention to Power Rangers in the background. Power Rangers going on,
giant monsters fighting in the background.
right
No one knows.
No.
I mean,
I'm not saying no one noticed. I'm saying the direct townspeople. Arthur was having his loyal subjects judge them and ultimately kill them. So I'm like, probably on the other side of those said pyramids, the people were just like, this is some crazy shit.
I mean, to be fair, this light show is realistic.
That family that was eating dinner, they probably noticed it. They were from.
They definitely looked out and was just like,
what kind of light show is this?
But
it is the Marvel. So it is the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Like, they're used to monsters
It's
now.
a Tuesday.
Like,
too. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's sad.
Wait. I couldn't.
Terrible.
Hold on. I couldn't hear what you said. Say it again, Tia.
Oh, I was just saying it's a Marvel Cinematic Universe. Like the poor people of Earth are just used to like every like as Jayla said, every like Tuesday a monster coming and like fighting in their city. They're like, yeah, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
Usual per
What,
usual.
what were you saying, Trevon?
Oh, I was saying they couldn't see Khonshu, like when well, if he's real, I don't know, whatever. But I was saying they couldn't see Khonshu, and I remember that time when Jayla was not Jayla, I said Jayla. Why did I say Jayla? Layla was out there fighting.
I
When she was
wish.
Off
fighting,
by a letter.
when she was out there fighting, remember the thing was invisible. She couldn't
Yeah.
see it, but it was hitting
Yeah.
her. So maybe.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's
Damn,
why I said
actually,
I
they
wasn't
never
sure
came
if
back
they
to
could
that.
see it or not.
Yeah. Well, Khonshu definitely, when Mark first arrived to Egypt, was sitting on top of the building as people were walking by. So that was always clear that they can't see him.
Yeah.
Because he sat right on top of the building and was talking. And Mark was looking right at him, and people were just walking by like,
Yeah,
what is he
that
looking
happened a
at?
couple times in that series.
Khonshu's a frequent traveler. He's been there all the time, you know.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Like,
I
I love this
appreciate that.
Khonshu.
As I pass it to you, Didge, one of the things I liked the most was Khonshu's very quick turnaround to where he was like, all right, Layla, you want to join me? Layla was like, no. And he was like, shit. All right, I'll do it myself. And then Mark wakes up and he's like, oh, thank God. Oh, Jesus. Oh, but a lot of people don't know this, but Khonshu does have the ability to where he can bring Mark back to life. He has done it before in the comics, a few times in the comics. But I like that they didn't go the route of him like, I could just go to him and bring him immediately back. He had to earn his way back. And once he got to the door, Khonshu could just pull him through. Because if Khonshu didn't notice him immediately, Mark would have just woke up and died. Like, that's very important. People know that. Like, he would have just woke up, died. So that was very awesome that Khonshu was just like, oh, Mark, there we go. Okay. I almost had to do this myself. I was scared. So he was very happy. So I appreciate that a lot. But Didge, what are your thoughts on this finale?
Overall, I enjoyed it a lot. You know, there were small things that sort of just made me think like, like I didn't understand why none of the other avatars were strong enough to do anything. Like when Harold walked in, he took them out so
really quickly. I do want to add, they pulled a Hulk. So the only way to really truly show Arthur's power was that you had to depower someone. So you had to showcase that his power was so much stronger than the gods, that the only person that could stop him was Moonknight. Because if you showcase the gods being able to stop him, what did you just go through bringing Moonknight back for?
Well, the thing was, so I thought about that at first, but then as you saw, like it seemed like Amit was getting more power as, you know, he was taking more souls. So it's like you can show the way of they're sort of holding him off, but as more souls are getting judged, then, you know, she sort of overpowers. So that's what I thought the route they would have went, just to see the immediate like overpowering of, I think there were like 5 or 6 of them, was like, well, that kind of sucks. But it didn't really take me out of the episode. It was
the difference. Amit hadn't been brought back yet. It was Harrow that defeated them. So you did want to give Harrow some recognition of like, all right, he was given some kind of like god tier power before Amit came back. But I did want to ask you, Didge, how funny was it that as soon as Amit came back, Amit was just like, all right, who brought me back? And Arthur was like, me. And Amit was like, all right, bet. Just know you will die for everything you've done.
That was the part that was funny. Like
he was like, well, take me now. Like, shit, don't wait.
I thought the entire time until that like sort of Amit sort of knew who was working to bring her back. So to see that she had no idea, was like, oh, okay, he's just doing this all on his own.
Right.
That was something that was really cool. I loved the big monster fight. Who doesn't love a good monster fight? So that was always cool to see in the background. All of the action was great. And then the one other thing that sort of just made me pause and go, was at the very end, the jump to the skip to end the fight, essentially. I was like, well, I would have loved to see that. Like, I didn't want another time skip for that, but it makes sense in this grand scheme of the series of the personalities. And especially at that point, we hadn't seen the third personality and we knew that that was the one that was sort of ending everything. So it made sense to us for us to not see it because it did make the post-credit scene that much better.
Yeah, I appreciated not seeing it because it's like when we do get to the episode or movie where we do get Jake's backstory, it's going to hit even harder where we get to see how brutal he is.
But everyone loves to see a good fight.
No, I don't disagree. I think I did see a good fight. Seeing the switch between Moonknight and Mr. Knight, that shit was beautiful.
Oh, yeah, for sure. All of that was great.
I remember I had said, like, I hope at some point the transition between the two becomes seamless. So it's not I got to roll back kind of shit all the goddamn time. And they did it. And I was like, oh, perfect. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So I really appreciated that. But I also like that Mark and Steven still haven't figured out there's another one. There's another one in there. I love that.
I just thought they really
I
don't.
love that.
They really
don't
know.
They have no idea.
So,
they have
like,
no idea.
That brought me to like the last point is I love where it sort of left off, where it's if it ends here, which I don't think it will.
No.
It's like, okay, it told the story it needed to tell, you know, but for them to continue, there's still stuff that you want to know. Like, I want to know what's going to happen with Layla moving forward. Yeah. I want to know,
craziest thing
when are they going to figure out? Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, craziest thing is in the comics, there's 5 personalities that Mark has. So it's like, we've only seen 2, right? Because you don't count Mr. Knight. So we've only seen 2 and we know of 3. They could go 5. So it's like, that's why I said I appreciated them leaving it open-ended, because it's a character that when you look at, there's so many more questions than answers in any given comic book you read. And I'm glad they stayed true to that, to where it's like, no, you shouldn't wrap up literally everything. You should create more questions, because it's based off of a character that doesn't understand what's reality and what's not. So I'm like, if you end it to where it's cohesive, it's like, well, that's not Moon Knight. Everything should be questioned because he's Marvel's Inception. So I'm like, I like that you kind of, even if they did end it with him falling to the floor, it's like, well, shit, well, was this all real? Like, he literally woke up to 2 fish in the fish tank. We left with 1 fish in the fish tank. Right. We have no reason to believe he made it home before then to get a whole nother fucking fish, right? So it's like, well, is that even real? Is that even real? You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I appreciate that.
I really assumed that scene of when he woke up and he's still chained and he's still tied to the bed. I assumed all of that was still just sort of like his body is sort of decompressing from all the shit it went through for the past, whoever knows how long this, I don't know, let's say 3 weeks or so for this,
he
for this series. Right.
Yeah.
Go
ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, so yeah, that's something I think that I'm excited to see, whether it's a season 2 or a movie. I do want to see them really understand, like, hey, there's a third personality and maybe more, and for them to have to not necessarily go through the exact same type of thing, but it's like, all right, we knew something was being the more violent of all of our personalities. Let's figure out how we handle that. And then, like I said, I did still want to know where was Layla at the end of the meet?
Right.
That's the biggest question, but that's where the fun is. The fun comes from how much of
where's
this
everyone really like,
and the biggest question is time. The biggest question is time. There were parts of the episode that you could believe being a present and then a past, right? So like when Arthur said, like, you know, I hope everyone in there is okay, or I'm paraphrasing whatever he said, that was clearly before the events of what we saw transpire, right? So it's like, okay, that was the past, not past.
Wait, which
past,
part?
Where right when he took the statue from Mark and then kind of pushed him back into the water.
Oh,
so that clearly happened right after he shot him.
I assumed all of that was happening in the same moment, where it's like, because it's the afterlife and everything, it's like time moves so different.
No, we know that. We know that. I don't know how much time had passed between when he pushed his ass back into the water and left, and then when everything transpired. We very likely could say it was all in the span of just that one day.
That's what I assumed.
We 100% could. But I want to pass it on to Tia. Tia, did you notice, because I know a lot of people don't know this, but did you notice the significance of Khonshu having to turn it from day to night? for Mark and why that was so important for Moon Knight?
No.
Okay,
because you know that I know nothing about Moon Knight.
So Khonshu turned it from day to night because Mark can access his full power at the height of the moon. So like he could access his powers somewhat during the day, but like it kind of advances everything. So like you know how like Wolverine like simultaneously heals, right?
Right.
So like during the day, Moon Knight can heal, but it's a slower process. You give him the full power of the moon, it's like that. And his ability to fly too does come from the height of the moon. Even though it's a glide, not a fly, it comes from the height of the moon.
That's very new. Even though they did make it seem like when he went straight up into the air, remember that part? It kind of looked like the moon copter, which I appreciated. And
I did too. Yeah,
that was cool. Even
so
though not a moon copter.
a lot of his abilities come from the enhancement of the moon. Like he needs that moon to really heighten his abilities. So his speed, everything about him enhanced once that moon came up. So that's why I appreciated Khonshu just like, I fucking got you. Hold on a second. And they're just I fucking love them, man. Goodness gracious. But Tia, your thoughts on this finale?
I wanted to say about with the relationship between Steven and Mark. You know, obviously we've had this whole season of the two of them, well, mostly Steven realizing the existence of Mark, them coming to terms with each other, them actually caring for each other. And it's almost a little comical that they've developed this bond where it's like it's the two of us versus the world, not realizing there's like this third that's just kind of like sneaking around and everything, you know, and it's like, oh shit, now we gotta do that. That final cut where then Arthur is, you know, almost dead and everyone else is dead around them. Like Didge, there was a second like, this is kind of, I don't want to say cheap, but I'm just going to say it for lack of better words. Like, oh, this is a little cheap that we didn't get to see this, but it makes sense, especially since they were teasing the existence of Jake. And of course it's Marvel. They're not really going to show you them absolutely slaughtering people. So I understood it for the show. I really enjoyed it. One of my favorite parts was when Layla was donning the outfit and that girl was like, are you an Egyptian superhero? And she's like, I am. I love that. I hope we get to see more of oh boy.
Okay.
And she's the first Egyptian hero, right? That we've had.
Technically, yes.
Yeah.
And I think that's born, yeah.
And she's her own because Tyreek isn't in the comics, right?
Not the Scarlet Scarab is, but this version of it, no.
Right.
Yeah, so I think that's what's like amazing, again, just furthering the representation in the MCU in this phase going forward, I think was so amazing. And I loved Mark and Steven's reunion to Layla because they're kind of like a package deal, you know. So it's like you got Mark and then Steven's like, oh, you look amazing, and it's like, oh, I like this dynamic here. But it was really good. As I said before, the ending kind of shocked me because I thought it was very abrupt, but I did like the callback to the first episode. They include the music, the fish, the ankle tied to the bed, how it kind of all came full circle. And I just really loved then that end credit scene where it was like, I love the confusion. I love the back and forth with the asylum. I loved Ethan Hawke's acting in this. And then I loved Jake just kicking the wheelchair over, just so like nonchalant. I loved it. I thought it was such a stylish way to end the entire show. And I just absolutely am ecstatic to see that. I'm just ecstatic to see Oscar Isaac in this and everything he did. I appreciate like everything he did in this series. I thought it was really well done. I have to say it's probably one of my favorite in the Disney Plus original Marvel shows, just because I thought it was really well done, really well acted. The fight scenes are amazing, costumes are great, and I really have no complaints with where they decided to go story-wise with it. Trying to think if there's anything else that I wanted to say. Um, I was gonna say that I was a little disappointed that maybe they killed off Ethan Hawke, but considering it's a character that existed for like one comic book, at least we got like this much development. So it'll be interesting to see if we see Moon Knight return either for another season or for a movie. Very much hope that it's a movie, just because I feel like, Oscar Isaac obviously has that big screen presence to him, and the costumes are just so cool. And I love the switch. I love that Mark essentially owns Moon Knight and Steven owns Mr. Knight. It's a nice way to kind of differentiate. And I appreciate how this series decided to approach DID as opposed to, say, Jane in Doom Patrol, which, not that I don't love the way that they approach it in Doom Patrol, because that's its own and everything, but it's very interesting how they approach it in Moon Knight.
Well, there's a line that really spoke to me where Mark is telling Steven that he's his real superpower, where he's saying being able to adapt with his disorder is the true superhero. Forget healing, forget superpowers or anything like that. Like, you're what's special about me. So I really appreciated that, because again, mental health is something that should be looked upon that way. Rather than like, oh, there's something terribly wrong with you. Like, what's wrong with you? Like, it's more so like, well, they can't help it. You know what I'm saying? So you always want to give a pat on the back when they're able to exist with it. Like, it doesn't derail them. They're able to live with it, and millions of people do every day. That's true superpower right there. Because none of us deal with it. So it's like, looking at it, it's like, I don't know how I would be able to handle that. So it's like, if you are, God bless you. That's a superpower to me. Because that takes a lot of willpower. So yeah, I'm with you on that. And what kind of stood out with Layla, me and Joel have been talking about this for a while, is that's just been their recipe for this phase. Think about it. Think about each and every movie or show you've got in this new phase. It has a female character that is either drastically different from her comic counterpart, or they've just made her more significant than her comic counterpart. So it's like, it's right ingrained with everything they've been doing. Hell, seeing how Shang-Chi ended was just like, oh, that's really dope. Okay. All right, cool. I can't wait to see where they go with that. Sylvie, can't wait to see where they go with that. Whether you like it or not, Sharon, can't wait to see where they go with that. It's been kind of the thing with everybody. I think the only thing that didn't have it was Spider-Man. Spider-Man had like Spider-Gwen or something. It's like, but that was the only thing that didn't have it. Everything else had it. Eternals, they had it. they did have it. Because I can tell you who the main character of that movie was. I was not expecting to be the main character of that movie. So they've definitely changed these female characters to be more standout. Rather than, there's been no damsel in distress really. Again, except for, you can make the argument of MJ. Outside of that, every female character has easily stood on their own.
Yeah. Like, definitely, and I really appreciate that, obviously. But even with like MJ, like, she's not, say, like your typical quote unquote like damsel in distress. Like, like, no hate to Sam Raimi, because I just saw Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness and I enjoyed it very, very much. But I went back and watched that original Spider-Man trilogy, and like, Mary Jane is like 2 seconds away from needing to be saved every 2 seconds. So
to be fair, like, that's what she always was. But in a progressive time like today, you can't do that. You can't do that at all.
So even though like MJ needed to be saved in Spider-Man No Way Home, I just think it was like different, just like her personality, 100%. And it was like more 100%. Organic. But right. Yeah, no, I love this new phase, and I just love Layla. Like, oh my God, I loved her. That costume was great. Like, that costume was just so amazing.
And as I pass it to you, Jamie, I want to give the actress a lot of credit, because we always celebrate Oscar Isaac's ability to go between different versions of herself. Layla talking essentially just to herself, but obviously we know what was controlling her. I love that, and I thought there was a huge moment there where she was like, yeah, I spoke to your dad. He passed through here. And it's just like, you spoke to my dad? So it's like it's a lot of things that can be resolved for Layla emotionally with now having this avatar part of her that she maybe could access speaking to her dad. Because I do believe that Wakanda isn't the only spiritual realm that you can kind of go into and speak to your loved ones, or just past Black Panthers. Like obviously for Layla, whoever those, the other avatars were, whoever crossed that plane, maybe they have the ability to do that. Whether it's just a short conversation and then you got to get back or whatever the case may be. But what were your thoughts on that, Jamie, in the finale?
To be honest with you, the first time I watched it, I was slightly uncomfortable. I'm like, oh my god, she's like contorting and doing all this stuff. I'm like, that's wild. But yeah, she did a great job. And I don't know. I don't know what I was expecting when like she became like Toret's avatar, just because Toret is so bubbly and Layla seems like she was not going to be down with it, but it actually turned out to be like a good mix, and it seemed like I don't know what's gonna happen. I wish we could have seen like Toret's like, oh, like I can't. You don't want to be an avatar for just like a few like decades or no, and they was like no. Like I wish we could have seen that kind of resolve. Because temporary could be a long time depending on your definition. So I don't think she would do that, but I don't know, that's an interesting situation. But overall,
to your point, that's what I think makes it so special, is that I think giving Layla the freedom and seeing that it's nowhere near what Mark described Khonshu as. She could maybe want to continue to do it, but on her terms. So like, okay, I'll do it, but I want to do it for this. Like, you don't get to control what I do it for, when it comes out, the stipulations of anything. So I appreciated it in the sense of, I think Layla's agreement will be, it's on my terms. And if I say we're done, we're done. And she seemed very amenable to it. Like, all right, shit, yeah, however long you want to do it, let's do it. So I think that'll be a match made in heaven, more so than what Mark and Steven feel as though they're dealing with Khonshu.
Yeah, I can't remember what specific thing it was that made me write this down, because I actually wrote down notes for this episode. But I don't think I've ever said this on the podcast, but I'm gonna say it today. Khonshu's a bitch.
I know, right? That's what I was thinking.
I love Khonshu.
I don't like him, bro. He sucks.
Yeah, I'm gang Khonshu for sure.
Oh, dude, no.
Look, there's clearly something.
I like his suit though. It's got a nice suit.
Of you, right?
The suit was cool.
I can't argue.
Khonshu's like a himbo, It's like he's cool. He's just like kind of dumb,
Look, I don't know. I love Khonshu the same way I love Palpatine. I don't know. There's just something about the arrogance and the outright, of just like, hey, yeah, I'm manipulating you as long as you understand that. Like, shit, but what are you going to do without me? You want to go die? So
I don't know.
I very much love the openness of it.
Maybe it's the way he went about it, because I also do like Palpatine, and they are pretty much doing the same thing. But something about Khonshu, I'm like, dude, you suck. But just going through my notes of the episode, I did enjoy it, but I feel like just like with the other series, like this finale doesn't necessarily feel complete. Like it feels like I was getting built up and it didn't go where I thought it was gonna go, which is fine. But I don't know. I was expecting something a little bit more grand, but it also, having 6 episodes does make it pretty rough. It does make it pretty rough. But I guess I think I wrote down more questions than anything else in my notes. So my first thing, and I don't understand this at all. So Layla, she's like, like, I guess, Mark's dead, R.I.P. Mark. I'm gonna go kill this man for my baby. And so she gets on the caravan with him. And like it's just hanging out, and Harold never notices that she's there. I'm like, bro, what is this? And I was also kind of curious because like when, go ahead, Tia.
I was just gonna say, like, to your point, Jamie, she was also like talking really loudly to those dead bodies. Like Arthur, like apparently is hard of hearing.
It was because like when she knocked the dude out in the tomb, like he looked like, what was that? I don't care anymore. And then just keeps going out his day. And then like she went on the caravan, he didn't notice. And I think she was talking with Tourette through like the bodies, and he might have like glanced, but then he was like, oh, it's not important. And I'm like, dude, like you could have just got stabbed like 50 million times and she was like intent on killing you. I don't know what happened. But that was that. And then when he like did the thing to test all the soldiers' souls, I was like, did Layla's soul get tested and she was good, or was she just exempt from that? Because I was like, oh, she's part of my people. I don't know what happened there. I was kind of curious and like,
good question.
Did she pass, or was it just? I don't know. Was she?
I
just
think
exempt?
having a power of a god is what somewhat made her exempt. If you're talking about at the very towards the end of the episode where the village people
or
were
towards
being,
the beginning.
When he was testing the soldiers.
Yeah,
when
because they were like, let me see your
blockade.
papers. He's like, nah, let me see your soul. Boom.
Oh,
that part, yeah.
Oh, well, remember, none of his actual people actually had anything happen to them either.
Yeah,
it was
he
just the
tested them
cops.
already.
Yeah,
He tested them already.
Say, I'd assumed it was because of that. He just didn't know who was in his crew. Like,
yeah, I don't know. That's what I'm saying. Like,
hey, I
crew
never
must not
saw
be that
her.
close,
Like,
bro.
I
know
mean,
the soccer girl,
look,
you know the watermelon
look.
dude, and that's it.
Look,
he didn't think like, hey, I ain't never seen her before. Like,
we love Layla's suit. So if he did find out, would we have gotten Layla's suit? So it's like I see where you're coming from. It is one of those like, all right, that's
because I was expecting her to get caught right there, but then nothing happened. I was like, okay.
I mean, look,
guess-
I can't argue. You and Tia make a great point. She was talking loud as shit, and you even see Arthur turn around like, I hear someone else fucking talking. Who is that? And he was just like, I got more important shit to worry about. And he was just like, well, you could have died right there, Arthur.
Literally.
So I am with you there because I am listening to her talk, and I'm like, first of all, someone has to hear or see that dead body just squirming on the ground, like, what the fuck is happening over there?
I got and now I don't care.
Yeah, I think he was just like, I'm so
felt.
powerful, just
For
like
real.
fuck it, who cares?
It
It was a question mark.
It was at
Marcus
that
dead,
point.
nobody could do anything to me.
It was like at that point, and then also when they were in the tomb when she released Khonshu and then was talking to Osiris, he was like, damn, somebody's talking again, like what is that? And then like nothing happened with that either, so I was like, good grief, Harold, did you just become like hard of hearing, or I don't know, you just not care anymore? That was funny. It did make me kind of, I wouldn't say it threw me out of it, but maybe it did a little bit. Maybe it did. I was like thinking about it a little bit.
And by the way, I have the episode on in the background, and you remember you were saying, Tia, like, oh, the people eating definitely noticed the gods fighting in the background. Yeah, I'm watching people just walk the street. So yeah, it's very clear that they cannot see these things in the background. They're just walking the streets like it's nothing. They're just like, yeah, how you doing? It's like, I'm good. You see those two big fucking monsters? No.
I
don't
kind
see them
of
at all.
though, like in my head, it's just funnier to think like they did see it and they're just like, I think it was Jayla who said like it's just a Tuesday. Like I don't know, I just feel like
Not my
at
monkey's
this
not my
point,
circus. I'm not dealing
That's
with it
100%
today.
true.
They see it. Oh, well,
That's 100% true. But I feel like the MCU never really explained whether or not people that blipped back what their exact memory is. Like they remember they were slightly blipped and then just came back.
Mhm.
But the significance for them is a lot less than the significance of the people that they returned to. Because even when you see Far From Home, when they came back into the gym, it was more so just like, I don't know what happened, and everyone else in the gym was like, "What the fuck? Like, I thought you were dead." Like,
Well, you can. I
think
mean, you can judge it by Monica.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I was
yeah,
gonna
yeah.
say
Judge it
Monica
from the-
I think
showed
she was
that
in the
really
middle of a
well.
sentence or
fair.
something.
That's Spider-Man.
that's
Yeah.
fair.
Yeah, I don't know. I just
Um,
think that the people just need to go get like their dry cleaning and shit, and they're like, I don't have time for.
Yeah, I
this.
mean, look, look, I'm even watching it now to where I'm watching Mr. Knight fight people, and people are still just walking the street like it's fucking happening.
because they're like, as long as they don't mess up my house, I don't care.
Am I good?
I will say the fight is so good you can kind of somewhat ignore the bad editing, but there are shots where you just see people in the back just watching, like,
That might
Hey,
be
no,
why are you
that's
standing
real.
there?
That's
Like,
real.
that
That's
that might be
real.
a culture thing. Can I be a culture
Yeah,
thing? It's
'cause
like,
one-
you know what?
Yeah.
That's none of my business. If I get involved, I'm gonna die. So like, I'm good.
I
Yeah,
think there was
exactly.
I don't know if
That
it
is
was
fair.
Trayvon that retweeted them, but there's like a series of videos where it was like what was it? It was some horror film where like a girl like gets all these supernatural powers or whatever, and they're like stuck in a coffee shop, and she starts choking a dude, pushing him off the wall, and people don't know
Oh, I
it's like a
saw
stunt or
that.
whatever.
It was for Carrie.
I'm
I
like,
think it was
the
a
amount
viral
of people that
story.
actually sat in that coffee shop just to watch what would happen, I would be 5 miles away.
There was a
already.
lady. She looked so terrified, but she was not.
Yes.
She was,
Yes.
but she was still standing there watching.
I'm like, bro,
that.
leave. And then
Oh.
when they start trying to go for the door, I'm like, it's too late. It's too late.
I mean,
Like, y'all
to be
deserve to be
fair,
there.
I do think it is human nature, like part of human nature, to where it's just like, all right, clearly I want to get to safety, but I am really curious what is happening here.
Okay.
Like,
I
It's like when you
understand.
see a car
Like,
crash. You're
I'll
like,
look it up. I'll look it up
what is
later.
Crazy part.
happening?
Here's
look
the
up
crazy
later.
part. Literally step out of the door, watch from the window. That's all you had to do. That's
is
literally
fair.
all
That is
they had
fair.
to do. If they
That
wanted
is
to see
fair.
that bad.
That's fair, but I do got an Instagram I need to get followers up to, so I am
Yeah,
definitely
exactly.
outside the
There was a
door.
dude. There was a dude out there with his phone. He was like,
You
But
can
you
get
know
back
that's
far
how it
enough
would
and
be
zoom
like.
in. These phones are good enough to zoom in.
That's fair, Trevon.
I'm like,
That is
bro.
fair. That is fair.
could
Yeah,
not
but
is
be
fair.
it's not as good through a window. Just saying.
That's true.
Mm.
That's true.
True.
That's
Also
true.
true.
Yeah, and there's
Life
also
is
no
better
fun
than
in that. There's no
anything
fun
they're
in that.
seeing.
You know, you got to put your life in danger to truly get.
Nah, I'm good.
Nah, no,
Good on
no.
that.
That's why
It's
I watch
method.
movies. That's why I
Like-
watch TV.
Like when you go to the newspaper and they're like, "How did you get this?" I literally was standing in front of Moonknight when he slapped shit out of Arthur when I took this photo. It's like, you were that close? Yeah. They're like, there wasn't a window or something you could have taken it from? No, I thought maybe you wanted the authenticity of like being there. So I
Peter
went.
I'm glad you're here to
That's
tell
why
me
they
about
make
it.
telescope lenses. That's why they make them big lenses. I'm not getting
Like, yeah,
anywhere
just-
near that.
I like Dom's theory though, of just like it's none of my business. It's like there, but look what's happening. It's like, and does it affect does it pay my bills? No, then I
No.
don't care.
Hey, you know what? You know what? Where would Peter be if he took that attitude? He made a great career off Spider-Man pictures paying for his rent. So
What?
Well,
just
yeah.
Or he
saying.
will.
Just saying, he made a great career of just setting up a photo and going, all right, I'm going to put myself in danger, snap some photos real quick, get 300 bucks. But Jamie, did you have any more questions before I pass it?
Let's see. I really wanted to see all of the avatars like transform and see like what their outfits are gonna look like when they were in the tomb. But then like it just flashed like Arthur just like whooped all over their asses, and I was like, really, all of their asses? Like I
Too
couldn't
much
see that
CGI,
one.
Jamie. Too much CGI.
No, I know. I thought about that later. I'm like, oh, it was probably budget. It was probably budget, but damn.
Wait, say it again. Say it
To
again.
see
Jamie?
all the avatars, like their fits.
Yeah, to see
Their
like what
suit,
their
their
outfits
costume.
would have been, their costumes.
Is actual gods?
Yeah. As
Like
they're-
Layla got a
yeah,
suit.
like
Moon Knight
Layla
got a
did
suit.
with Tara.
All of them. Let's see all of them.
Oh,
With a suit.
oh. No, I don't think it was necessarily budgetary. I think it was their way of saying like, hey, they don't matter. Like they really
it.
don't matter. Let's
That's really
move
what-
on. Let's
That
just
would've been
move on
cool.
from them. They don't matter.
It definitely
Yeah.
would've.
Hey, look. I just saw a room full of gods, right? That didn't die. They just went back to their astral plane. I'm very curious. We just got gods. We're about to get a god butcher. Could we see some of these names reappear somewhere in Thor Love and Thunder? Because it's like, well, if they are gods, you now don't have to make up gods. You can maybe kill some of the gods we actually know do exist already. So I'm like, that's pretty interesting. Pretty interesting. So that might be something to look out for. But yeah, I don't think it was more so budget. I think it was just really like, we don't want people to pay more attention to these characters that don't matter than needs to be. Like,
Why show them if they're gonna get their ass up anyway? That's how
Yeah.
they look at it.
Yeah.
because I'm like, all right,
guess.
if they suited up and then
They
they got
look cool.
defeated as easily as they
Right.
did, it's like, well, what was
Yeah.
that for?
What was the point of that?
I mean,
It even
Put
showed
that
how
money-
And
powerful
what
Hero
if?
was, though.
Yeah.
Huh?
It would have
But
showed
that-
how powerful Hero was, though.
But that's
like,
the point. What
He
he
did see
did,
how
what he
powerful
did
he
with them was supposed to showcase that.
They
Again,
wanna
like,
pull.
For Harold.
like I said, would I have liked the Hulk to have put up a better fight than he did? Yes, but the whole premise was to showcase to people that don't read comics how powerful Thanos really was. So he had to take one for the team. So these gods had to take one for the team. It's like, well, you're not Mark or Layla, so you're not important. So, you don't get a suit. You don't get to fight.
It would have been nice to see. I agree with Jamie, though.
Yeah. Just I
understood it.
A little
energy and some energy blast.
Yeah. I saw something like, sheesh. The dude was like, he was getting ready. I'm like, yes. And then he's like, I'm like, bruh, what happened? You were powering up. But, that's whatever.
And look, shout out to Khonshu on their next God reunion where Khonshu just shows up like, no, don't say shit to me. I told y'all. I told y'all. I specifically said, take me more seriously.
Yeah,
and you know what?
Like,
I even loved it.
The truth.
Right. I loved it. Like, as soon as they felt the disruption, he was just like, it's Arthur. Should have listened to Khonshu.
But, somewhere they Khonshu deserve that. Like, they absolutely did not question that man enough.
They didn't. But to be fair, it was less of questioning him and more so of not trusting Khonshu. So it was the decision to make of like, should I trust Khonshu or should I?
Yeah, I remember like when they walked in the temple, I was like, look, this all could have been avoided if they just listened the first place. But I think it was like when they're all like, kind of like all getting defeated and everything. I was like, this could have been avoided. If you just listened.
Yeah. Somewhere Khonshu was just like, I'm walking Earth like nothing, and you're trapped. So, all right.
He literally was like telling him, he's like, but he didn't do anything. And then like when he like walks in, they're like, oh shit, he's right. Like,
Yep. What were you saying, Dom?
I said that's why he was posted up in the limo like that. He was like,
Yep. That's what vindication looks like. That's exactly what vindication looks like.
Mm-hmm.
I appreciated that a lot, but I also appreciate Khonshu going, you know what? I was shitting on Steven and Mr. Knight a lot, but he do look clean as hell. Like, let me call him, see where he gets his suits from. Like, maybe I might get something like.
He kind of stole his like fit. You know what I'm saying?
He did. But to be fair, which usually the reason for why men do changes like that. Don't forget, she did. Amit did say, "Oh my God, you look horrible." And Khonshu took that shit personal. He was like, "Oh, word? Okay. All right, watch really this drip. Yeah, watch this drip."
With all the rag taken off her face too. She said, "Damn, you look kind of rough." She said,
"He was like, oh my God, yeah." Khonshu was like,
it's like they are literal gods, like existing for eternity, right? And who cares? They're literally dealing with like the fate of humanity, and she takes the moment to fucking
the funniest part was though.
But to be fair, Khonshu. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Jamie.
I was just gonna say the funniest part was though, she's like, "Damn, time has not been good to you." He's like, "It really hasn't. It really hasn't."
So like, did he have a bird? Did he have like a full actual bird's face then? Like, I wonder what his face was originally then. Like,
it wasn't a skull,
right? Like, I just thought that was his look.
Yeah, no, that is what Khonshu is always looking like. I think she means like millennia ago. What Khonshu looked like.
His look in the comic book.
I remember I saw a post today and someone was talking about like Khonshu was like, and they called him a chicken, and I was like, what?
Definitely not a chicken.
I was like, that's why I was like, wait. I had to literally like ask Blake. I was like, what? I was like, what do they mean? And it was like, oh, they're just like making fun. I was like, oh, okay. I was like, there's no way Khonshu was like a chicken or something.
Nah, Chick-fil-A wishes they had drip or sauce that good.
I mean, to be fair, the like real like. Well, I don't want to be like insulting, I guess, if someone like really but I mean that's like that's a bird. It's a bird's face.
That's what she was saying. He doesn't look like that anymore.
Yeah.
And to Khonshu, he was just like, do I want to? Like,
I mean, that's gotta be better than like the between period where it's like half decay, half bone.
Oh like, God, yeah, those years were probably rough.
Yeah, probably just all bone was better.
Yeah, I imagine Jake when he met up with Jake was just like, all right, look, if you want us to work together, this cannot happen. You got to change your clothes. Like, you look dusty as hell. I can't turn around and look at this all day. And he was just like okay,
sitting in the back of my limo looking like that.
Looking dusty. Yeah, absolutely not.
We have come on, I got an image. Sir.
Yeah, he's like, I drive a limo and you want to be dusty in my said limo? I don't think so. Fix that.
Either
Khonshu was like,
way,
okay. All right.
Before Juwaan, before you move on, one thing about Khonshu, like I guess because he's a god, so he can do whatever the hell he wants to. But the way that he can like shift sizes, because like at one moment he's like absolutely gigantic, and another moment he fits in a limo, and it's like, you know what I'm saying? Like that almost like took me out because I was like, wait, isn't he supposed to be like really really big?
Well, Khonshu in the comics, no. Khonshu in the comics is usually the same size as maybe just a little bit taller than Mark. So that's new. Him going full Power Rangers, that is new. Him turning into a Megazord
by it.
Yeah, that's relatively new.
She grew like it seemed like she grew as she got more power. So I was like, the fact that he was just able to grow out of nowhere, I was like, well, how did he get more power?
Yeah, and Khonshu disappearing like that is also new. But those were welcomed additions to the character. Like, okay, sure.
You really want to question it.
He's a grower, you know.
Hey, there you go, Dom. There you go. There you go. Just thank God he's never a shower, right? Like, you can grow, but we don't need to see that dustiness. But go ahead, Jamie.
Please, no, don't even mention that. Don't even mention that. I wouldn't be able to unsee that.
That's fair.
No, literally.
Doing that.
No, because somebody like pointed. Okay, like to be real, really quick, someone pointed that out for Weasel, and now I can't unsee it every time I see him.
Oh, stop!
No, it disgusts. Blake had to literally point it out, and I was like, I can't stand you right now because I'm like, I literally cannot get that out of my head every time we watch it. Because I'm like, oh man.
That's awesome.
Nope,
that's
so bad.
Pretty quick.
Attention to detail. I appreciate it actually.
I know. I still haven't eaten tonight, but okay, go ahead.
Sorry.
Jamie. What else did you have, Jamie?
All right, so my last three things, I guess 3.5. I do want to say that the Mr. Knight thing where he was like straining his jacket, like, oh, okay, Steven, let's go. I feel like Steven low-key redeemed himself because I saw a few different podcasts where people were like, yeah, I hate Steven. And now I bet you they'll either be like, you know, Steven's cool, or like, oh, I really like Steven now. So I'm like, good for Steven. I liked him from the beginning, even though he was a bit quirky, but you get used to it. But I thought it was funny when I think Ahmet pretty much dragged Khonshu that whole fight, and that was hilarious to watch in the background. That was quite funny. And then like so they can't Thanos snap like reverse all the stuff that happened, but that was a heck of a lot of souls that Ahmet consumed. So all these people just dead now, like.
No, I think it's one of those Power Ranger things to where it's like, all right, you defeated it, so like it just reverts back, like it just goes back. You have to imagine that. Look, I said it before, and you guys.
I feel like that happens with most things like that when like souls get taken and stuff like that. As soon as you defeat the person, like they just go back.
Right. I mean, look, I said it before. That's not how totems work. But the fact that they could just smash a totem and then it just breaks like that. It's like, that's not how totems work. You use a spell to make the totem. How do you just smash it to unrelease the totem? But I get it narratively. So that's why I believe that once you defeat Ahmet, the souls just revert back. Because I'm like, if a totem works like that, then the souls have to just revert back to like default to owner, right? Like, all right, I go back to my owner.
Okay, that could be a situation where they got all flipped. You remember?
Yes, right. Like the wrong soul is in the wrong person, and it's just like, hey, I think you have my soul. It's like,
oh yeah,
I don't know how to give it to you.
But they're already like cleaning up and burying the bodies. Like somebody's, oh well, he's done.
Yeah,
he's like,
that is true.
That'd be scary.
What else did you have, Jamie?
What was I gonna say? I was just thinking about it. Maybe it'll come back to me later. I don't know. Anyway, my last thing was the fact that like Harrow. So when Jake goes to pick up Harrow and like throws him in the limo, and then Harrow sees Khonshu, like one of the first things he says is like, "You can't hurt us." And so at first I didn't really think about it too much on my first watch through, but then my second time, like, was he talking about like him and Mark / Steven? Or who was he talking about? The us?
Ahmet.
Yeah,
So he was still protected. He felt as though he was still protected. Right. Meanwhile, Ahmed is somewhere back in like God heaven, just like I don't have you. Like you're gonna die today for sure. Yeah, 100%.
Harold's like, where's my seat?
Yeah, it's like you're definitely gonna die.
Oh man. Well, at least they probably made him stop wearing the glass sandals while he was in the hospital, so he got that, you know.
Yeah, no, that's for sure. Yeah, all right, before I move on to you, Dom, we have some shout out to Deuces. He said Didge is a Steven hater.
Not anymore. Not anymore.
See,
stop being Steven haters.
I mean, I'll take that title.
Oh.
Sure. All right. If you are welcoming that. Low Wolfie says, what do you guys think about people saying Marvel is woke for giving Layla powers? That usually comes from men who aren't secure with their manhood. So you could just ignore them because that's not being woke.
The amount of times I've heard today was like, oh, that was unnecessary. Like, shut up. Just shut up. Please.
How is that unnecessary?
We're going to deal with that a lot in this phase, considering we are having women, people of color, people who are members of the LGBTQ. I mean, Doctor Strange into Multiverse of Madness was banned in certain countries for that, same as Eternals. And we're just going to have to deal with people going, is this woke? Is this woke? And it's like, just say.
Just watch the movie. Like, it's not that deep.
Or they can go to sleep.
Or I was gonna say just say that because it's not a white straight male that you mad. Right. Sorry.
I mean, to me, I just feel like, again, I feel like A, they're irrelevant. B, it's just men that they fear their own manhood. Like they feel inferior.
They really do.
Strong and powerful. And it's like
it's always funny to me.
Well, I don't feel that way.
Well, like there's usually like the guys that are like, oh my god, like, you know, look, like, oh my god, step on me. She's like powerful. Then other men that are like, oh, this is unnecessary. Like, shut up.
I've always said this. I love the concept of dating someone like Ronda Rousey and then just starting a bar fight and then just stepping back.
Oh my god.
Like starting the bar fight.
Like basically a woman that can handle their own. They hate that.
I love that. That is actually one of the most greatest things ever. Is just like, oh my god, yes, I love that. And it's like, oh, I'm sorry, did I offend you because I punched him in the face for you? Not at all. Do it again. Do it.
Ladies, we'll keep that in mind when we go to Comic-Con. If we ever go to a bar, just stay away from Juwaan. Stay away from Juwaan.
Just smash a bottle over a guy's head. Who did that? Jamie.
I'm like, nope. I'm already out the door.
The girl over there that's dressed as Wonder Woman. That's who did
it. Jamie and I.
Is this what I'm getting for my birthday? I love that.
Hey, look.
But this is happy birthday more.
Sabrina, you watch the Batman enough that you should have picked up some fighting tactics. So utilize them when we get to this bar.
The fact that you think that I like, yeah, of course.
I believe in you.
Let's see. The episode was okay. It had me wishing for a tad bit more. I'm just always curious. Wishing for a tad bit more. What is the more? I never, people always say that for certain things, but I feel like they never know what the more is. It's one of those when I see it, I know.
I would say, I was one of the people who said that, and I would say for me, it just feels like this story has more to say, and episode 6 was kind of going pretty quickly to try and wrap things up, which having the 6
that's what I enjoy.
Model,
I feel as though it didn't wrap up anything. And to me, what I feel as though all these shows have done is they haven't wrapped up anything because they have bigger stories to tell going forward. We're talking about we could see Moonknight as early as October. We could see Moonknight as late as Blade, right? Not to mention whatever he gets on his own. So I'm like, I didn't think it was fast at all. I thought it was very much so a story that you could progress in 6 episodes and then you get the extension in wherever else we see them. Now, if this was a series finale and this was all we were getting of Moon Knight, I would agree with you. Then it's like, yeah, that was really quick. You know what I'm saying? Like Kenobi, it has the risk of rushing because it's taking place in a hidden timeline, right? In a timeline that didn't exist before. So I'm like, you could essentially rush that. And it's like, you should have taken your time with it a little bit more if you were going to retcon things. So to me, I look at Midnight, and if this was a series finale and we got no word of a movie or anything, then it's like you rushed it. You could have maybe extended it to 8, stretched it out a little bit. But because we know we will see him again going forward, I felt the same way I felt at the end of WandaVision, to where I'm like, you answered no questions. You only created more. But I know they'll get answered in Doctor Strange too. So I'm not sweating.
Well,
you know
what you just said.
See, that's how I felt about Hawkeye.
Okay.
Go ahead, Trevon.
No, I was saying that's how I feel about it. We don't know when Moon Knight's coming again. They haven't told us. We didn't even get a Moon Knight is returning. Like, the little message at the end.
true.
Nothing. I was like, where is?
Well, that's what happened with Hawkeye, though, too.
My question to you is,
Hawkeye's already an Avenger, so we assume we'll see him again. Like,
right? But
but still,
say you'll see Kate. You didn't see you'll see Kate again, but you full-heartedly believe you'll see Kate. Trevon. Sometimes, Trevon, you have to look.
It's okay,
but you have to look deeper into it. Think about this, Trevon. They brought Oscar Isaac in to be Moon Knight once and then never again. Come on, Trevon. What's the likelihood?
I don't know. He's one of those actors that might not want to sign on.
When have you seen that?
For years. He's one of the actors that want to sign on for years.
Juwaan, to be fair, I didn't think they would bring Richard Madden in to just kill him off after one movie.
Yeah, but that's different. That's completely different. That's completely different.
And
time out. And at the end of Eternals, did you see on the screen the Eternals will return? No, but you fully believe they'll return.
Okay, but those are other Eternals. I'm talking about Richard Madden.
But my point is, you didn't see that.
Give me that hope.
You didn't see that for Kate. Do you think that was the last time we'll see Kate Bishop?
No.
But she interacted with somebody that's already in the MCU.
No, they left a lot of things like unanswered and everything. That like if you didn't know,
Moon Knight is very separate. Like he hasn't. There's no indication when we're gonna see him.
Just let him.
This is Oscar Isaac.
Well, like I think also, so like because I remember. Like there's like that thing going around that with same thing with Daredevil, like he might appear in movies, like but not like maybe not his own kind of thing. And then like Oscar kind of like backtracked during like press. You know how like every actor does that now? Like Tom did that right before he got his confirmed trilogy. So I think they kind of do that to play it off in case something happens like in the show, so they don't reveal anything. You know what I mean?
What also sucks is usually you can get an idea, like you kind of got an inkling if somebody's going to come back because you can see their deals. Oscar Isaac is literally only signed up for this 6-episode series.
Yeah, well, like no, but like my point is like with Tom Holland, like when before No Way Home came out, he literally did an interview and everyone was like freaking out. It was like, oh my god, is he like done being Spider-Man? And then like a couple weeks later, his college trilogy got confirmed. Like, you know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying though. With that though, he was still technically like when you looked at the deal, it was still said like he has Marvel movies or whatever under his belt, still under his contract. And obviously, contracts can change; they can get canceled or whatever. But it was just like with this one, and I do fully think Moon Knight's coming back for sure. But it's like with this one, I can understand someone saying, "Oh, because like will he or will he not?" Because this is literally the only thing that Oscar Isaac. It was
maybe they purposely do that with actors though now because of everything.
What you just said is my exact argument, right? Because let me ask you this right now. You ready for this, Didge? Do you personally know Benedict Cumberbatch's contract?
I mean, you always got to go off what's reported, of course.
So all I'm saying is there could be a contract that is indeed with between Oscar and Feige. We'll find out the next time Feige does a big Marvel show. Fair. Right? The next time he does a big Marvel presentation where he goes, Moon Knight will be back and blah, blah, blah. Or we'll hear reports that Moon Knight's in Werewolf by Night. All I'm saying is the reason why Eternals is different is that was an ensemble movie, right? So as long as you got some of the parts returning, that was never the issue. But to bring back a singular character, make him do one project and then never to be seen again, what was the point of that? Like Marvel doesn't do one-offs like that. So that's why I'm like, where have you seen that? Like, why would that be a fear? Again, Hawkeye ended with not saying Kate Bishop will be back.
No, you're definitely right about Eternals being different because that was kind of like, even though it's set in the MCU, it's still its own thing.
And it ended with you believing like, oh, I see where that story could go in the future, right?
Yeah.
It didn't end.
Well, because like I said, like because it's the aftermath of everything with Thanos still. Like they're still wrapping up everything that happened with that.
I'm just saying the likelihood of us going the next 3 years and hearing nothing about Oscar Isaac returning is slimmer than slim to none. Like,
but if that's how you want to go through it, then it's gonna be great when they finally announce it. You'll be fucking surprised. That's gonna be awesome.
This is why I appreciate Joel. He's always like, whatever comes will come. And it's like, I appreciate that. But to wrap up the Eternals talk, I know Eternals will return. I'm asking, will Richard Madden as Icarus return? Maybe I should have specified.
No,
Probably not.
But to be fair, that's your love for a specific character. The argument was more so like a character that we don't hear anything else about. Will they return? And it's like, but that movie ended with showing you the Eternals will be back.
Like if we had an Icarus show and they killed off Icarus, then
that would be different, right? I'd be with you. But that's an ensemble movie, and it ended with an ensemble, not
I'm just
one
being
specific
selfish.
character. No, I get your love for Icarus.
I mean, just
I
get
really
it.
don't think
I
he's
get
actually
it.
dead.
See, that's how I feel about Star Fox, though. I know he's coming back, but I don't know when.
Yeah.
I don't know when that's gonna happen.
To be fair, when the first Thor movie came out and Loki let go, and I was like, is that the last time we'll see Loki? Because I literally now have no interest whatsoever in Thor. And there you go. Look, 20 years later, practically.
Loki
still more Loki.
won't die.
That's exactly how I feel. Like I'm kind of excited for Thor, but like it feels empty without Loki. And I know how you feel, Juwaan. You told me, but I'm just saying.
We don't know that Loki won't be in it.
I just want to move past.
I had a Loki without
That's all I
Thor.
want.
No, you're not gonna move past him because he's getting another season. So.
God, jeez.
And I'm not gonna shut up about it.
God, it's all right. The one day he's actually put in the ground for good and it sends to Valhalla, it will be my vindication.
And you were gonna ask
Juwaan!
point. No, it's a total boy called Wolf at that point.
Say
What
it
did you
again.
say, Jayla?
It's a total the boy called Wolf at that point. Who's gonna believe it when he actually dies?
No one. That's my problem, Jayla. No one. He'll be here forever. He will be here forever.
It's okay,
He's the
Loki
fifth
won't hurt
grader.
you.
Loki is the fifth grader that won't go to sixth grade. He's just in fifth grade forever. And it's like, bro, you're like 8 feet tall. You should not still be in fifth grade. Move on. Ascend. Go. He won't go. Goodness.
Well, when they show him in Valhalla, then I will accept it. But anyway,
I won't
Then they'll
accept
bring
it
an
then.
alligator Loki.
The man is
Yeah,
going
I
to
won't
hell.
Leave Valhalla right
I
after
won't
that.
accept it then. Somebody, Thor, come pull his ass out of Valhalla. Like, I need you again. It's like, damn you, Thor. We were this close. Close. But all right. So Trevon, I'm gonna pass it to you. What were your thoughts on this finale?
Flights was great. I was enjoying the flying. Did Layla fly? I can't remember.
Yeah, she did.
Yeah, she flew in.
She did.
Both flew today.
Yeah.
Arm wings.
Yeah, I'm like, damn, she's showing Captain Falcon up, or what is it? No,
Captain
America.
Falcon.
I'm sorry.
Captain Marvel? Is that what you were trying to say?
No,
Well,
no,
to be-
Captain America.
Falcon.
Oh, Falcon.
Fair.
I
No, you know what I've seen all day for her suit? I've seen people compare it to the Wonder Woman 84 gold suit.
Yeah,
And I'm
I
like,
was
oh my
looking into that
God.
a little bit. I was thinking.
I
but
literally
mainly
kept
just the
seeing
wing
it
part.
all day long. It was like, we know she's shaking, and I'm like, stop.
I mean,
Yeah, I don't understand.
she barely had that suit on, so I mean, that one on.
That's why I'm like, it's not really comparable because it was like for 2 seconds, but I get it.
Right.
And she shouldn't need a suit to fly. Anyway, so let's move on. Let's go.
Oh no.
Wonder Woman doesn't need a suit to fly in my mind. So,
She doesn't.
well, I mean, why does she have that on? But anyway, it's fine. That's not part about it. Anyway, so we'll leave that alone. We'll leave that there. Okay, so anyway, okay, so Layla flying was cool. Moonknight flying was very cool. I was wondering, this is literally my notes. Could Mr. Knight fly? He was standing there. He was like, Mark, you take this. And I was like, can you do it too? Yours would have been cooler. You didn't have a skateboard. It would have been cooler for him to fly. But anyway, it's fine. I'll let it go.
I feel like he was when he switched between like Moon Knight to Mr. Knight, like he just started plummeting. I don't think he can fly, unfortunately.
To be fair, Moon Knight can't fly either. It's a glide. It's not a fly. It's why
he went straight up.
Erect.
He went straight up and straight.
He did get some lift. He did get some lift. Yeah.
So, he didn't get dropped and glided. He went straight up and then glided. So I don't know. No,
Yeah,
I mean
good.
inconclusive. Let's see. So
I can agree to inconclusive. I'll give you that.
To deviate away from this for a second, you guys were talking about Palpatine. I wanted to talk about really quick about I really hate him where he is in this season of Clone Wars I am right now. He is
No spoilies.
He is
no
very
spoilies.
shady. It's very shady.
What
And
season
yeah.
are you in?
I just season 5,
Oh,
episode
okay.
19.
Evil incarnate, bro.
I just saw a
He's
couple episodes of Palpatine where that was hilarious. Like he was
Yeah, how
just,
they
he would
not
just give the
notice him.
information like, oh, how did you know that? Like that's interesting. I like stop talking.
They are
All right,
so
Loop is back, Trevon.
They're so ridiculous. Okay, sorry. Okay. I don't like the back and forth in the asylum. I hated that when they did that. I was like,
complicated.
here we go. I was like, no, please. I don't like the uncertainty if it's real or not. I get it, that's his whole thing, but I like to know, are you like, you just don't, it's not real, or do you actually have powers? Like, which one is it? Like, I'm kind of annoyed with that, especially the ending where he was back in the bed. I was like, really? Is this all a dream?
That's never the question. He always has power. The question usually comes from is the situations he gets himself in. Is this like, again, we were telling you there was a sequence where he thought he was fighting with Spider-Man. There was no Spider-Man there. He was just acting like Spider-Man. Like, no, but I'm saying like that's more so where the questions come in on what's real and what's not. Not does he have powers? He definitely has powers. That's for
in the
sure.
show, he most definitely has powers.
That's never to be questioned for sure. But in the comics, yes, he has
Have you
powers.
seen the show?
When he was in the asylum and stuff.
But you saw him get shot and then come back to life. You know that wasn't fake.
What? I mean, I don't know. I honestly don't know.
I can understand Trayvon's confusion because I also like after they passed through the afterlife, I'm thinking like, oh, like the asylum stuff's over because I guess that was kind of like his purgatory. And then like at the end of the show, they go back. I'm like, what the hell? Just what? Why are we here? So I think it's his dream realm, I guess.
Yeah,
I'm
I was
not 100%
guessing
sure though.
where he went while Jake was out. They went back there.
Yeah.
And, like in their mind, they're back at home,
Right.
but Jake's doing his Jake thing. Yeah,
exactly. That's how I look at it.
Yeah, but again, the powers is never to be questioned.
No, he's
That's
definitely.
what I was saying. Yeah.
Jake's the new Moonknight right now.
Sure.
At least they don't.
Can't
know
wait
they're
to see
Moonknight
that
at the
suit.
moment.
Can't wait to see that suit.
So you think it'll be different than Mark's?
Fuck yes. Fuck yes. I want the suit Trayvon has behind him. That's the suit I want.
Too.
See, that's what Blake said too. Yeah.
That's what I want. Yes.
But then when Layla was talking to him, after
I don't like black on my
blacked
suit.
out.
Yeah, you said you like all white.
Oh, no. Yes. But I'm saying to be different from the act. I don't want to see two people in the same suit. So I'm like, if he has to get another suit, I want it to be that suit. But yes, I do love, because that was the whole thing about Moonknight. That was an actual conversation with a cop. The cop was just like, you're in all white about to go down into a sewer and fight a guy. And he's like, isn't that like super obvious? And he's like, just the way I like it. And I'm like, fuck yes, that's Moonknight. That's Moonknight. He loves that shit. I'm in all white. Fuck it. See me
nowhere
coming.
near to me as powerful as he is in the show. Let's put it that way.
The show enhances things for sure. Because the suit is more superpower based than in the comic.
The suit is a suit. That's the thing. Like that's the thing. He's more vigilante Batman than he is superpowered being in the comics.
So it's not like a transformation thing in the comics.
No.
Like he actually he puts something on.
Puts a suit
that
on.
kind of makes me think he's crazy then.
Yes,
a little bit.
Yeah.
What are we talking about here?
Yeah, he's crazy.
What are we talking about?
He's been crazy.
Level to like what's real, what's fake at this point. Because if he just put on a suit, he could just be out running on the streets, like just swinging at stuff. Like what?
That was the point. That was the point. That's why I said in the show it's not to be questioned. He is 100% real. But in the comics, there were points where it was just like it could just be Mark in the suit fighting. There is no power of Khonshu that's helping him. He just fucking guys up just based off of his training. That's it.
Yep.
So that's why I said in the show they wanted to make sure that was definitive. He has powers. It's not to be questioned. In the comics, it is always up to question. You only really know he has powers when like he gets shot and then he heals, and it's like, okay, so Khonshu got you today.
Today you got powers.
Today, but when you got stabbed like crazy yesterday, there was no healing. So yes, that's the difference. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Trevon.
Since we're talking about Jake, I got annoyed when the blackout happened and Harold was beat. I was like, come on, man, stop doing that. I'm tired of doing that. I'm really sick of it. Now I did like the fight when they were switching back and forth. I thought that was cool because it was very seamless. They were like very in sync at that point. Like I really liked that. They were like, okay, you switch now. Okay, you switch that. I was enjoying that. I was like, this is cool. And I really want, specifically Mr. Knight to meet Deadpool. I want to see them meet the chaoticness of like how Mr. Knight is acting in that, especially that scene where they're like in that close quarter area or whatever, and you fix the suit, or whatever. I was like, this is giving me very Deadpool energy, like to me, like how he was acting. It was just very weird, very goofy kind of. I was like, okay, I like this. Yeah, I like that. I thought that was really cool. Also, while all these souls are getting sucked out, and we got huge gods and the night changing and everything, like where's Dr. Strange at? Like, where I think he's supposed to help, protect reality. Like all this crap going on. Where are you at? Like there's a lot of stuff going on. I just it's hard. Like he should have never said that in the movies. And now I'm like, where are you at? Like you always say you're sensing high power or whatever. Like where are you at during all this stuff happening?
When does this take place in the timeline? Does anybody know?
I don't even think they said anything about it.
No, we're not supposed to know. Feige
I'm
is very.
it's after the blip, though. So that's all that matters.
No, well, if it is after the blip, yeah, we are to believe that it's after the blip. If it is after the blip, then it makes 100% sense what Doctor Strange is doing. We're about to see tomorrow.
Why do you say it's after the blip?
Well, look at the license, the years on the license.
I was about to say, yeah, the years.
And there was a scene. And when the background on one of the buses, I think it's like the first or second episode.
Oh, yes. Okay, I didn't remember seeing that.
The GRC, yeah.
I didn't remember seeing that. Okay.
So if it's after the blip, we know exactly what Doctor Strange is doing. And we'll have more information when we go see it, whenever we go see it this week, of what Doctor Strange is doing.
He's doing a lot.
Yeah, and that's not even a fair question to ask to Doctor Strange, because to him, his answer to you would be, I'm not the Sorcerer Supreme right now. I'm not the head of this shit. So ask Wong. Your question is, what the fuck is Wong doing? Because last time, I was about to say, because the last time we saw the world in a flux, Wong went on vacation. He packed his bags and said, "Don't put me in this shit." And left. Yeah. So the question ain't what Doctor Strange is doing. The question is, what the hell is Wong doing? Because this is his job now. Strange is like, I just
minding his business. That's
well. Then why can't Doctor Strange? Why can't Doctor Strange?
Because Doctor Strange, he said that statement. I mean, Wong didn't say it. Doctor Strange said it.
Well, Doctor Strange said it when he was the Sorcerer Supreme. He ain't that no more. So that's Wong's job. Yeah, 100%.
We talked about it already, but when is Moonknight returning? I wrote that down too. I was like, so when we don't have a definitive. He's gonna be in this movie. He's gonna be in this. Or like we have no idea. It just ends. And
it's just speculation right now.
And then the ending of him ending back in that bed with like who keeps putting the thing on his leg? Like
he does.
It's just weird. Like why? Like if you already about your two personalities now, right? So like y'all aren't running. What is it for? Like what is the thing around your leg for now? Like you're not.
It was a reset. No, it was just a reset to the beginning.
Which made me mad. Made me think it was all a dream, and I was like.
Not all a dream, but you're seeing it now you saw the beginning of it through Steven's eyes, and it's now through Mark's eyes. That's why he fell, because Mark is still trying to remember that that's a thing that they do, is that they trap themselves so that they can limit what they do in the course of a night. So you're now seeing it from Mark's point of view of like, oh shit, that's right, you do fucking do this. This weird ass chain the leg to the fucking pole shit. Yeah. So it's just seeing it from the other point of view, to where it's now is like, okay, all right, now Mark has to get used to this, and they'll probably stop doing it. But to a degree, if you're Steven, you still do it because you've blacked out twice. and have had crazy shit happen that you can't explain.
Mhm.
So part of you is like, well, is there a part that's in there somewhere that we don't know yet about? Maybe I should still prepare for it.
That's the other thing. They don't really question like what happened during the blackout. They're just like, oh, blacked out. What the heck? And that's it.
Yeah.
I never entertained the thought that, maybe there's another one.
And this is like the third time that they've noticed, hey, that wasn't you? No, that wasn't you?
Yeah, I'd be more concerned
Guys.
about that.
Like, guys.
But maybe that's why they chained themselves up. They're like, well, that's not us. So,
Right. And remember, just because we don't see it through dialogue doesn't mean it's not an internal
haven't
struggle.
explained it.
Right. Doesn't mean it's not an internal struggle. Because again, remember, it's not something you could just go, all right, mind, what else is up there? And it's like, oh, Jake's up here. And it's like, oh, there we go. Like, there's no way to see it until like Jake shows himself and then opens himself to the rest of them. So there's obviously he's the most dominant of the three because he can work without the other two knowing. So that's why I'm saying it's not as easy as Steven and Mark's connection was to just look in the mirror and then the other one responds. Jake clearly doesn't want the other two to know that he exists. So that's why I said just because I didn't explain it. Who needs to be more careful?
I feel like he's just more careful. But Jake one is like he does whatever he's going to do and make sure he puts them back in where they don't notice.
Right.
I think that's just him.
Well, remember, I told you Jake was created as the protector. It's why every time you see them black out, it's when they feel as though their life is in extreme danger. And that's where Jake comes in to save them. That's his role, is their protector. He's supposed to act, right? In their best interest. So that's why I'm saying when it looked like he was about to die, Jake popped in and said, I got this. And just wrecked shop. Now, if you want to ask a question, Trevon, my biggest question is, what did Layla see? Right? Because Layla didn't make it sound like she saw a completely different looking Moon Knight. It looked like she just saw a more violent Moon Knight. Bless you. So my question is, do we get another suit or do we get the same suit, just more violent like we know Moon Knight to be? So that's my biggest question to come out of the episode. Because she asked him, what the hell was that? And he's like, I don't know. Like, I thought maybe you could answer it. Yeah, I don't know either. So that's my biggest question because she saw it and had no idea what she was looking at. Like, who are you? So I appreciate that a lot. I definitely appreciate that. So that's definitely a big question I had. And again, we'll see it played out. But like I said, as far as where we could see Moon Knight next, it could be as soon as later this year. It could be as late as Blade. But we will find, because remember, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, albeit, yes, it did say Captain America and Bucky will return. We had no idea where. And then what, like a month or two after, we got the green light that we're getting Captain America 4. It answered it really quickly, right? WandaVision, we knew heading in, the sequel to that would be Doctor Strange 2. So for a lot of these shows, we do know where we will see these characters next. And if not, it'll be answered within the next few months. It won't be long before we have a conclusive answer.
Right.
That's all I'm saying.
It might not be because we still don't know where we'll see Hawkeye next.
Right. Either one of them. Right. Either one of them. Right. But that's why I'm saying you don't bring in a actor of that caliber and then just go, that's it. Like, she won't be back. She'll be back.
I'm saying I'm sure they'll want him back. I'm just saying, does he want to come back?
I believe there's no way he signed on. There's no way he signed on without. I think what he wanted to do was, because remember, he's an executive producer. I think what Oscar wanted to do was, because of his past experience with Disney, I believe he wanted to see how much control he would be given. And if it was the control that he was okay with, I'll come back as many times as you'll have me. But if you try to fuck me like Star Wars fucked me, I'll never come back. And now I have the freedom to not want to come back, to not have to come back. I think it was just a match made in heaven.
I guess I don't understand the Star Wars thing, but okay.
He's told you about the Star Wars.
3 movies. You signed for 3 movies. I don't like how did they whatever. All right.
But he told you he had no control in the arc of his character, and he felt as though they completely destroyed his character. That's what he said out of his mouth. So now he's saying, and Feige has said this before, he doesn't hold actors to these long-term contracts anymore. It's more so just like, hey, all right, if you want to do A or B. Where have you seen it become a mess though? Is my
Not
question.
yet. Not yet. I'm saying we haven't.
So why are you assuming the worst? You've never seen it, so why are you assuming the worst?
Because we have, but when it comes up to already, we've had Tom Holland already. We haven't experienced a new character that has to come at multiple times yet. So I'm going to see how that works out for this character. So
everybody you've seen in the MCU today that does not have a long-standing contract is the exact same. They could walk.
Somebody
say, I don't want to come back.
Somebody new is what I'm saying. This is a new
But my
person.
question to you is,
New
because
character.
you haven't seen it, don't
Let's
jump
see
to
him
the
return.
negative.
Okay.
That's all I'm saying. You just jump right to the negative.
I just want to be
Where's the middle
reaffirmed
ground?
that he's coming back. That's it. That's all I'm saying.
Be patient.
I'm just saying I haven't seen anyone join the MCU that has said I don't want to come back or I will not be back. No reason to believe that's the case. That's all I'm saying.
You didn't want to come back.
Wait, what'd you say, Joel?
That's Skull. What's his name?
To be fair, that was a character you didn't need back. So it's like I don't really need
which character? I missed it.
Oh, Red Skull.
Red Skull.
Yeah, you didn't need him back.
You didn't need Red Skull.
I mean, they replaced him
Chris
fairly
Evans didn't
well,
want to do it after a while. I think.
Who?
Chris Evans, didn't he say he was like,
but bro,
ready to wrap it up?
Well, he said it now after like 12 to 13 years of being the character. He said, "I'm done."
And with Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah, that's different than
That's
hey,
different,
I
yeah.
just became Captain America. Now I'm done with this shit. So that's
Edward
different.
Norton's the only person I can think of.
No, Edward Norton got fired.
Well, I mean,
to come back.
fair.
He did want to come back.
But
He wanted more
control.
control. Right. And Kevin Feige said, "I think you must not know my name." Okay.
He's like, I love this script is ass. Says you, imagine.
So Edward Norton was different. He got fired. Kevin said, "You're not coming back," and that's why they drastic. That's why you haven't seen another Hulk movie since. It was very much just like maybe if I work it more so in my control, Universal won't have as much of a say as they were trying to give Edward Norton. But Jayla, so I want to pass it on to you. What were your thoughts on this finale?
No, that's never fun. I love the editing of the fights, how fluid it was, how they were just fighting together in the same body. I love that. I thought it was a great conclusion. I was hanging on the edge of my seat, waiting for Jake. Oh my God, my heart was probably pounding out of my chest. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you, it was late. I probably started watching it at 3 a.m. At the end credit scene. At first, I thought it was Blade until he rolled him out.
I did too.
No, it's Jake.
I did too. Until I saw the gloves better, I was just like, oh no, that's Jake. That's Jake. Because you just see black gloves. And then when he puts it on his shoulder, you're like, okay, yeah, that's Jake.
Thank God it was Jake.
Well, no, I'm saying, Joel, when he first walks up, you kind of just see like the attire, like the body. You could see the gloves better than you could really see anything else of the silhouette. And I was like, oh, fuck, Blade. But I'm like, why is he here for Arthur? What was he about to ask Arthur?
Right, exactly. I'm like, what is he doing here? I don't understand.
I'm like, yeah, that's really weird. And then it's like, okay, it's clearly Jake. It's clearly Jake.
I thought Layla was amazing. I love seeing her be able to hold her own the entire thing. One of my least favorite tropes is using a woman in a story as like the motivation for the guy to like save. Like he has to save her, and there's nothing else that she does. I'm glad that she was fully a part of it. Beginning to end, she held her own. She faced it on her own, and she did really well. I really don't have any complaints. My favorite episode's probably still 5, I think. I do think this could have been a movie, personally. I honestly do. I think this could have been a movie, but I know why they didn't make it a movie. No, I thought the final fight was amazing. Seeing them fight in the background while they're duking it out was really, really cool. I don't have any complaints, really. I mean, yeah, of course I wanted more. I was really into the story. I can't wait to see more. I'm pretty sure we're gonna see some more. And geez, the ending with Jake shooting him was pretty brutal, actually, because it was point blank, 4 shots.
Mm-hmm.
And last thing.
Go ahead.
Shout out to Mr. Knight, Steven. I told you last time he was going to have his moment. He was going to have some more brutality to him, and he really stood his own as well. And I was happy to see that.
he fully leaned into I can
He
do
did.
anything Mark can do, and it was just like, oh, you really leaned into that shit. Okay, all
I
right.
called out.
Yeah, I'm like, you're whooping ass. Okay, all right, Steve, I'm proud of you. I will say, Mark and Layla very much gave me very happy memories of watching the final season of Iron Fist, where you saw the two of them both being Iron Fist essentially, and just seeing them just wreck shit. It was just like, yeah, it's really fucking cool. So I appreciated it a lot. And look, I said it before, Joel called it, and he called it, but like as a question, he was like, what if they made her? Like, and I was just like, oh yeah, I could see that for sure.
What if they did?
Yeah, I'm like, that makes all the sense in the world. Yeah, I didn't think about it, but yeah. All right, before I pass it to you, Dom, I want to answer a few of these comments here. Wonder how long Marvel can lock down Oscar for Marvel projects. Well, if you think about it like this, Werewolf by Night, Blade, and then Midnight Suns, right? So those are just 3 over the course of the next 10 years that they're planning out. So I'm like, unless he gets greenlit for his own movie, his own season, because I did think it was really weird that Moon Knight's Twitter account said season, Marvel Studios' Twitter account said series, and it was just like, well, are y'all pulling a Moon Knight here? Am I supposed to figure out which one of you is real, which one of you is fake? And then Marvel Studios corrected it, and it was like, okay, all right, because that was, what the fuck? How do you make that mistake? But then again, you remember Sony Brazil, so it happens. All right, let's see what else we got here. As long as they don't make him be a tall, ugly blue Smurf, I think we're good. Yeah, that's always good to ask for. I think he's referring to what we got from Apocalypse.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah. We don't have to talk about it.
Yeah, we don't ever have to talk about
Moved
that.
on.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot about Jake. I believe they handled him well in these episodes. They didn't show him until the end, but you still felt his presence and saw what he is capable of. I love that. Yeah, because I mean, look, my truest issue with not getting enough Jake will come if the next time we see him, we don't see any Jake. Then it's like, well, why? Like,
What introduction though?
Like, why?
Seriously, I really like the way they introduced him. I know it sucks not seeing him switch again and not seeing the aftermath, but it still fits within the tone, because for me, if they would have shown everything, it would have not meshed from the beginning when they didn't know about each other in their blackouts. So
Right.
it kind of had to have the blackout and for it to have that impact and for the overarching mystery. And for people who don't know about Moon Knight and Jake, it was a really cool reveal for them too. Like, oh, okay, that's what's going on. There's this guy. And again, with the way he executed the man, it shows that he is definitely much more brutal than we've seen so far.
Yeah, that's for sure. Dom, I want to pass it to you, man. There was nothing funnier than Khonshu being like, yeah, I told him I would release him, but why would I really release him when I have this beautiful motherfucker right here that will just carry out all like all my bidding? Like, he will kill without even thinking twice. So it very much was just like Khonshu. It's like, I loved how quickly Khonshu was just like, fine, Mark, as you wish, here you go, I'll let you go. And Mark was like, you know what, you're a good man, Khonshu. Meanwhile, right behind his back, Khonshu was just like, motherfucker, you don't know about Jake.
Yeah.
So, I love that Khonshu and
How
his
long?
head.
That's another question. How long has he known about Jake?
You know, I think Jake has been around since the beginning. I think there was a certain mission Mark went on as Moon Knight that Mark maybe hesitated, and it almost got him killed as Moon Knight. And then Jake stepped in, and then Khonshu was just like, well, who is this motherfucker? Well, hello.
Said, hold up. I like this guy.
Yeah, I like you. It's like, how often can you come out? He's like, I can only really come out when Mark is in true danger. And it's just like, I don't like that. We're going to figure that out. Give me time. But Dom, what were your thoughts on that? And then your thoughts on the finale?
No, that was definitely one of my favorite parts, because I did think, like, how long has Jake been around? And I think Harold knew the whole time. Like, he kept saying, like, multiple times, like, he's really messed up. This guy is really messed up. And we saw, like, well, I mean, Yeah, but like he was speaking in a way like, no, you have no idea how much.
Right, like you are really going through some shit. He's like, I don't even know what I'm going through. What are you talking about? He's like, I thought Steven was the worst of it. He's like, oh no.
I think the one thing, my one beef with the whole series, because like I want to preface it by saying I kind of knew like we weren't going to get like this full Moon Knight experience as far as like everything we want to see, because I knew they're going to use him later on down the road. Mm-hmm. But I do kind of wish that they didn't use Harrow in this series, and I don't know much about him, but he's low-key one of the best villains we've had as a human, because he is a cult of personality. He was convincing all these people around different countries that he's like the savior, and everywhere he went, tattoo. They could have used him as like this super duper villain that we didn't get a whole bunch of.
Arthur could have been, again, not to do revisionist history, but Arthur could have been a really fucking dope power broker.
Yeah.
Like a really dope power broker. Like, holy shit, like someone with that much power is literally the actual power broker. So I'm with you there, but they had to drastically change the character for the show.
As soon as I saw him put on the glass sandals, I was like, oh, I like this guy. Like, this is a guy that knows how to like get what he wants. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I needed, once he got like full control, I wanted more of a transformation.
Yeah, I would like to see him get a suit too.
Yeah, all they did was change the staff, and I was like, bro, like you went from a pimp cane to a more dangerous pimp cane. Like I need something more, man. But I mean, I initially did want like more action. I wanted to see I needed like a hallway scene. I needed to see like a brutal fisticuffs that like was real in detail. But like I said, I know we're gonna get so much more down the road. So it didn't really hang me up too much. Right. But I did love the seamless transitions from Moon Knight to Mr. Knight. It looked great. But I don't know, man. The show overall for me, if I had, I rank things. So if I had to rate it out of 5, for me it'd probably be a 3.5. I did need more action. I know we're gonna get later, but I did need more of this FaceTime with Moon Knight to solidify this character. Like that's who I really want to see in the future. I'm cool with mystery, and you're like, oh, what are we gonna see later on? But like for me, I need the in your face to make me want it more later. But I mean, there's a lot of aspects I really liked. I mean, Layla, of course. I mean, I don't think they expected her to be like such a fan favorite. They can probably lie and say like, oh, we knew, you didn't know. But that actress is really fucking good.
I will say this, Dom. I don't know about that, because if you go just this phase, all the prominent female characters, they seem like they added a little bit of spice on all of them, right? Like a little bit extra to all of them to make them stand out. Right. So could I say they didn't expect them to be as big as they turned out? Sure. But they definitely were trying their hardest to push them to being as popular as their male counterparts. So I don't think it was a mistake that Layla, Xialing, like all these characters were made to be as big, right? Hell, we just got an Eternals movie where Icarus wasn't the fucking leader. Right. So it's like they definitely are catering it that way. But I will agree with you in the mindset of they didn't see them being as big, but they definitely catered it to make them that way.
Like I definitely
try to make them that way.
I think that they're gonna have to make Layla like a pretty regular character in some capacity. And even if I don't know if that was the case, going forward, but now they're gonna like have to look like, hey, we have to give her something. We need to make a short. We need to add another series. We need to do something, because it doesn't seem like she's trying to stick around though. Like, you know, as with Mark and Steven, she seems like, look, y'all are a headache. I fuck with y'all, but like, she kind of seems like she's in that mindset of like, I'm gonna stick around here and help my people, because it does. She got a, when she said to you, an Egyptian superhero, you can see that like, yeah,
she kind of like puffed up with that.
Yeah, I am.
Yeah.
So I
But
guess
to
I'll
be
see
fair,
it.
Dom, we did see what's her name? Shit. Can't think of her name right now. From the season of Hawkeye, Yelena. We did see Yelena's mission was going around the world freeing other widows. And then the next time we see Yelena, she's a hired assassin. And it's like, well, what the fuck? What? Did you find everybody? Like, did you
gotta
catch
pay the
them all
bills
at?
somehow. You gotta pay the bills.
like what
Yeah.
happened there?
Gotta
So
make
we
that
definitely can see in the MCU how someone has a purpose, and then that purpose gets altered, and it brings them it always brings them back to where they're supposed to be. So I very much see Layla taking that to where it's like, yeah, I haven't seen Layla in like 6 months. She's been over there helping her people, and then Layla finds a way to de facto right back to Mark. And then we get that, you know, that them being reunited. But she did seem a lot more happy to see him still breathing than I thought it would be like a hug than a slap. Like, I still fucking hate you, but I'm glad you're not dead.
Yeah.
But it was very much just like, no. I'm just glad you're alive. Fuck all that other shit. I'm just glad you're alive. So I'm like, who knows? Maybe Mark now feels more complete mentally, that he's open to a relationship with Layla, like a healthy one, like an actual real relationship.
Right.
So who knows? Who knows? There could be something there.
Is she in a polygamous relationship? Because like it's low key 3 dudes there right now. Like, we don't know what Jake been doing in the cut when they sleep. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, she could be in a whole relationship with Jake and never knew that it's Mark. But he acting kind of weird. Like, why are you speaking Spanish? You're like, oh,
right? She's like, I like that shit though. Yeah, do that again. Meanwhile, Mark wakes up and she's like, that Spanish you did last night was great. He's like, I don't speak any Spanish. It's like, I legit, Layla, don't speak. And she's just like, ha ha.
Like, yeah, I've been doing Duolingo. Like, I thank you for recognizing.
Yeah.
And if you like you were saying, if there is possibly 2 other personalities, are they gonna pull out some Dutch or some like Finnish? Like, what are they gonna do?
I can tell you this: none of Mark's personalities speak different languages, different dialect, nothing. So I don't know where the hell they could go if they do introduce 2 more, because this is already different for me. So I'm like, wherever they choose to go, all right, I'm open to it, because this already has me like Like, when I heard him speak Spanish, I'm like, why is he speaking Spanish? Where did this come from? But it was a pleasant surprise. I didn't hate it when I heard it. I was like, well, that's new. Okay.
It did kind of make me I don't know if it necessarily debunks, but when Mark was in the insane asylum talking to Harrow as the doctor, and people were saying, like, when he had the bandage over his nose, people were like, oh, like that was Jake, because he didn't sound like Mark and he was all banged up. So like, obviously, like, something was different. And now clearly that was not Jake. He was not just speaking Spanish to Harrow. Unless he popped
up again in the finale though.
Yep.
Okay. Well, the 3 of them was, so we're saying, when they were leaving that part again, when they were talking to Harold at the end. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. I don't know
if I'm making sense.
You make perfect sense to me. I know what you're talking about.
There's 3 voices that come out. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, at one point, all the kind of accents kind of melded together at one point.
Yeah.
I thought he messed up, and I was like, what was that?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm with you there.
That, so.
But I do like they like, as much as I did want more Moonknight, I do like the Jake cliffhanger of like, we know whatever we see him again, whether it's a series or a movie or both, we're gonna get exactly what we said we wanted this series. It's gonna be a lot more face-to-face Moonknight, and then whatever they end up, it's probably gonna be all Moonknight and then like Jake's backstory, I would assume.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So I did want to answer. Someone just sent this to me. Apparently about an interview Oscar Isaac did with Radio Times, where he says there's no official plans for Moonknight season 2. Quote, I love being Steven. If there was a story that really made sense, I'd be happy to be part of it. But to anyone that wants to look too deep into that, I would remind you, Elizabeth just did an interview where she was asked about a Scarlet Witch movie, and her response was, if they give a good story, I'll happily come back. It's always going to be that open-ended. He's not going to be the one to tell you, yeah, I'll be back for season 2. Clearly, that's an announcement that's not meant to be said yet. So when it is said or debunked, it will be said or debunked by Kevin Feige. Same thing with Elizabeth. We heard rumors that we're getting a Scarlet Witch movie. And then she comes out and says, well, if it's a good script, I would happily do it. She didn't say there is plans for one. So again, these announcements are announcements. Feige makes very clear. I say the shit. You don't say nothing. All right. You just get money and show up to work. I handle all the really cool shit. So to me, I kind of just looked at that like, well, yeah. I mean, like you said, Sabrina, Tom Holland did say, I don't really know if I'll be back. And then immediately, oh, he'll be back. Well, there you go.
Probably
So
like
clearly,
Feige
it's not gonna come
watching
from there.
them from the like distance.
Yeah, no, I think they play that because A, it's not their place to say something,
Right.
and B, because like they won't know until like Marvel like moves forward with a certain project.
Right. And again, like Feige just said, he's going to be planning out the next 10 years, which means he hasn't already done that. So Moonknight could be part of the next 10 years that he's sitting down with his team and figuring out, where is he going to pop up? Where are we going to use him? So it doesn't have to be an Oscar thing. It could be a Kevin thing of like, I got to figure out where I want to put you. Not if I can use you, because that's always an easy fix. But where I want to put you is always the question, you know? Right. So I'm not just throwing you in random fucking spots, confusing people. I want to put you where you fit. So let me plan that out. And then once I got that plan, we'll know about it. So for me, like I said, and look, Feige does swerves. We thought we were getting a fucking Serpent Society before he said, no, you're getting Civil War. It's like, oh, thank God. Fuck wants to see Serpent Society. So he very much is jokey with it. Mr. E did ask, do you find folks think Moon Knight's popularity will increase or stay the same?
Oh, of course.
I will say Guardians of the Galaxy got an animated series and a game. So if they could get that, Moon Knight definitely will become a household name for sure. Yeah. Because if you had asked me 10 years ago, hey, I'm doing a Guardians movie or a Moon Knight show, what do you think will be more popular? I would 100% say a Moon Knight show. Guardians is definitely a storyline. I would have thought no one really gives a fuck. Like a tree that just says I am Groot, a fucking raccoon, a half god. Like that is something about this seems like, yeah, you can make it cool, but
it's not even that. We've also gotten stuff with Guardians so far. This is the first thing we've gotten with Moon Knight.
No, but I'm saying if you had asked me a decade ago about either one of those projects, I would have said Moon Knight for sure over Guardians, 100%. Just purely off of people trying to compare it to Batman, I would have said people would have been intrigued to see what it looks like for Marvel. Guardians doesn't really have that intrigue unless, like Joel said, you play the Marvel and Capcom games and you played as, what was it, Rocket, right? Yeah, you played as Rocket. Outside of that, most people didn't fucking know the Guardians, so I would have definitely hedged that bet for sure. Depends on viewing numbers, I would say. And then listener Jim's asking what kind of numbers. I don't think general population really dictates it off of the numbers. If they like it, they like it. If they don't, we will know. And it does not seem like people dislike Moon Knight.
Does Disney Plus even release their numbers?
No one outside of Netflix really fucking releases their numbers. It's really
that's
only
what I thought.
Yeah. And that's why I believe
go out of like the reviews, like what consensus reviews are.
Right.
I was just looking off of Rotten Tomatoes, just looking at what the ratings were on there.
Mm-hmm.
It was pretty close to WandaVision.
Yeah.
WandaVision's like 9.1. I think Moon Knight's sitting at like 8.7 right now.
But see, I think Moon Knight has the same thing Wanda had. It generates questions, right?
Mystery.
Right. It's the wanting to know what is this? When you watch Falcon and the Winter Soldier, that's pretty direct, right? You watch, right. You watch Loki, it's pretty direct, right? Like you've seen Loki. The question
I have
isn't
so many questions.
Well, no, the question, no, but I'm saying the questions aren't about Loki. It's about the story around Loki.
Yeah.
With Moon Knight, the question is everything. With WandaVision, the question is everything. What is all of this? What's happening? So I could see how that's more intriguing because there's questions and fans just want to know. They don't want to be left out. They have FOMO, right? They have an intense FOMO is social media. They don't want to miss out on shit.
It's not FOMO for me, it's just confusion. I just want things straightened out. Just tell me.
I love that though, because that's, like I said, they're keeping in vein of what Moonknight is, and I appreciate that, because they very much could have just cleaned everything up, and it's like, well, then that's not Moonknight. So I for sure appreciate that. Sabrina, what were your thoughts on this finale?
I loved it. I loved the fighting and everything, but like something that I don't think anybody's really said yet, but like it took me out when like Steven and Mark like kind of I don't know like I don't want to say made up, but kind of when he like said you saved me, that took me out so bad. I was crying so hard. Yeah. And like I remember seeing in like the description that like Steven was in the thing, so I was like, okay, so we're getting him back.
Yeah,
right before the episode started.
Wow.
I was like, oh my god, because I was like, it could either go both ways, and I was like, I really, really hope we do. But then like that title card, I was like, okay, I was like, all right, I know I'm getting Steven back, but I don't know how. But that scene was so freaking beautiful. Oh my god, I can't. I loved I'm trying to think. I liked seeing Mr. Knight in action more than just like I know, because like I remember when he first got introduced, a lot of people were scared that he was like kind of like there for like the comedy version, and like a lot of people were worried about that. But like I'm glad now we saw him like more in action and like hold his own, and like I don't want to say prove himself because I liked him since day one, but like kind of prove himself more than just like being there for comic relief kind of thing. So yeah, like that was very satisfying. Like that entire like all the fight sequences were very I'm trying to think of the word. Very satisfying.
Yeah, they were
very satisfying. I was I only got to watch it once because Blake's been at Disneyland all day.
Oh,
shout out to Blake. Shout out.
Yeah,
to
I
Blake.
know.
Is it Moonknight
He's gonna go
right now?
in like an hour. I think he's gonna go try and find Moonknight and Mr. Knight.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, he's really he's excited. I told him to go because I was like, I really want you to go see them because like you might not.
Yeah.
When the show's like over, he might not be able to see them like as often.
Right.
So I was like, excuse me. I was like, yeah, just go. So I'm gonna wait for the text and see if he sees them and like the pictures and the video. But yeah. So we're gonna try and watch it again. But I don't know. I loved it. Like I know, like my manager at work kind of said some like critiques about it, and I was like, yeah, it's valid, you know. But like, I think. I love Loki. Loki's was my favorite Marvel Disney Plus show. Moon Knight has become my other favorite, and like because not only were they good from like start to finish, but like they actually like stuck the landing for me. So I was like very happy about that. I mean, like I'm not saying they're perfect shows, but like I don't know, I got what I wanted out of them. And, like they were interesting, like from like start to finish. Because like I know a lot of people are like it's debatable when it comes to Loki, but like. I'm not just saying just the finale alone of Loki, but like just the entire series, and like I've never been this invested in like another like Marvel series like this since Loki, so like that's why I also really enjoyed it. And like I said, I'm glad that I took a deep dive into him, so like I kind of wasn't confused. But yeah, I've enjoyed it like the entire time. I loved seeing Layla get her own costume. Oh my god, that was amazing. That made me very happy. But like I know a lot of people kind of say like, because I've been seeing people say that like, oh, it kind of turned into her show, but like I like that the two of them, like, because I know the debate was that, oh, is she gonna be like the new Moon Knight? But like I'm glad that she got her own like costume and like her own name and everything.
Yeah, she needed individuality, so becoming Moon Knight.
Yeah.
You're just rehashing what I've already got. There's nothing individual about
it. And it's just like becoming another Mantle, and it's like no, she gets to be her own person. Like she already proved she can handle her own, and like because like I said, I know some people are like, oh, that's unnecessary, but like no, she can have her own, you know, avatar and everything, and like her own costume, like because it's amazing.
It was pretty hilarious when she told Khonshu no. Like she literally looked at him like, "Did you really just ask me that question?" Like damn, you're stupider than I thought.
But it wasn't even like that. Like she said no, she like was arguing with him. She's like she literally had to tell him no like twice. She was like no, and then like he said something. She's like what part of no do you not understand?
I mean, well, it was a good, it was good that she did that because clearly he didn't respect Mark or Steven by continuing to like deal with Jake. And I'm like, how does that
So
work?
mad at him for that.
If the majority of the soul says no, then how can you still work with him?
He doesn't need full consent. That's why.
Did you guys catch him going, I'll let the both of you go?
Yeah, I'll let you two go. Yeah.
I hate him.
Yeah, he definitely feels as though
I love him and I hate him.
He definitely feels as though he only needs partial consent. But all right, so I want to showcase this to you guys before Dom has to go. You guys will be seeing the full version on Twitter tomorrow. We will release it on Twitter tomorrow. So I just want to showcase this to you guys before we start to head out. Shout out to Dakota. I'll be tagging Dakota in the post tomorrow so you guys can follow him, show him some love. But here is our preparation for tomorrow's release of Doctor Strange Into the Multiverse of Madness.
Very nice.
Oh, it looks so
Very
good.
nice. Yes.
I'm so excited. Oh,
I love that.
It's so good.
Very nice.
Absolutely killed it. It's stellar.
Dakota put his foot all up in the ass of that motion poster right there.
Yeah, that was dope.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Love it. So there is sound to it if you guys couldn't really hear the sound, but you'll see it when I post it for real tomorrow. Just wanted to give you guys a first look because you guys were great that have joined the stream. We had 15 people in here. So the numbers keep going up for these lives. So we'll be going live next Wednesday for our Doctor Strange 2 spoiler review. So stay tuned for that. Like I said, it's Mother's Day weekend, so I wanted to give everybody the
graduation weekend.
And graduation weekend.
Yeah.
Congratulations. Look at that. Look at that.
Award-winning graduation.
Award-winning graduation. Right.
Oh my goodness.
Wait. And most importantly, season 3 of Star Wars: The Clone Wars award graduating Jamie. Yes.
I don't know if that's the most important, but I'll take it.
Yeah. Look, don't worry. I already called the dean. I put that on your certificate and everything. Like it'll say.
Oh, you shouldn't have. You really shouldn't have.
Don't worry. I got you. I understood it. It's Star Wars Day. I got you. So yeah, stay tuned for that, guys. And I know you guys want us to break down the Kenobi trailer. You're going to have to wait. We will be breaking it down, but it will not be anytime this week. So stay tuned. When we break it down, it will be worth it. I promise you. But yeah, so there's no GVN talk, no GVN roundtable this week. Everything will be back next week, and I promise you it'll be better than ever. And our interview with Ernie will probably be next week. Ernie Altbacker, the writer for most of the DC animated movies, will probably be next week. So stay tuned for that. And I am still working on James Arnold, the voice of Obi-Wan Kenobi from the Clone Wars. I'm still working on that. I'm still working on that. I told him how desperately I need this. I told him how desperately I need this. I need it. Like if I can't get Matt, which is impossible, so is Ashley. Ashley's not available either, ever. So I need Kenobi. I need Kenobi for Kenobi. So he needs to make that shit happen. But I want to thank Didge, Jamie, Joelle, Dom, Sabrina, Trevon. I swear to God, I think I said Jayla, but in case I didn't, I'll say it again because I don't want to make it seem like I forgot you. Jayla and Tia, of course. Tia had to dip out. Everybody, please stay away from the internet. Allow your first viewing of Doctor Strange to be the first time you see anything. Do not allow anyone to spoil it for you. If you're on Twitter, mute.
On Twitter.
Yeah, just mute Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. Just mute it and you will be oblivious to everything. As Dom can attest to, he has an amazing article out right now that's already gotten picked up from numerous other media outlets. Shout out to Dom.
Let's go, Dom.
Okay, Dom.
Dom.
But it is definitely something you guys will want to experience. Notice I didn't say see. You will want to experience this said movie. So make sure you guys go out on your own and see it. And join us next Wednesday as we try our best to break down every inconceivable thing to happen in that fucking movie.
And there's a lot to comb through.
Right.
I'm so excited. Stop.
Make sure you guys stay tuned for that. And until next time, guys, peace and may the 4th be with you.
Yes.